Amazing digital technology. 3,000-year-old mummy of a famous Egyptian pharaoh has now been digitally unwrapped, and this is the mummy of Pharaoh Amenhotep I. This is by Owen Jarrett's Live Science on Science Alert. The mummy of ancient Egypt, Pharaoh Amenhotep I, was so exquisitely wrapped, decorated with flower garlands, and buried with a lifelike face mask, scientists have been hesitant to open up the remains, that is, until now. Some 3,000 years after Amenhotep's burial, a team of researchers used CT scans to digitally unwrap his body for the first time, virtually peering through the many layers to reveal what he would have looked like when he was alive. He took after his dad, it seems. Now, they also found that the pharaoh, who ruled from about 1500 BC to 1004 BC, was 35 years old, 5'5" or 169 centimeters tall. When he died, he was also circumcised and had good teeth, the researcher said, and beneath the wrappings were 30 amulets as well as a unique golden girdle with gold beads. Study co-author Sarah Saleem, a radiologist professor at Cairo University Faculty of Medicine, said in her statement, "The girdle may have had a magical meaning, and the amulets each had a function to help the deceased king in the afterlife." Zahi Hawass, Egypt's former Minister of Antiquities and co-author of this new study published December 28th, said, "It's in the journal Frontiers in Medicine." This is what he told Live Science in an email. He said, "Amenhotep I's mummy is wearing a piece of jewelry called a girdle. The ancient Egyptians wore jewelry like this around their waists. Some girdles, as this one, have shell amulets on one side," Saleem told Live Science in an email. Amenhotep I. Egypt expanded in northern Sudan during the time that Amenhotep I reigned during the 18th dynasty. The pharaoh initiated a building program that saw the construction or expansion of numerous temples. Nobody knows how the pharaoh died or where he was originally buried. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. A team led by French Egyptologist Gaston Massé-Barreau found Amenhotep's mummy back in 1881, along with several other mummies in a tomb on the west banks of Thebes, modern-day Luxor. His mummy had been placed in the tomb sometime during the 21st dynasty, that's around 1070 BC to 945 BC, after it was robbed in ancient times. Researchers found that the robbers had damaged the pharaoh's body. The CT image shows the extent of damage of the mummy of Amenhotep I that involved neck fractures and decapitation, a large defect in the interior abdominal wall, and disarticulation of the extremities, including the right hand and foot, wrote Saleem and Hawass in their journal article. The researchers found that priests had repaired the mummy by placing detached limbs back in their place, using resin to help hold parts of the mummy together, and rewrapping parts of the mummy with fresh bandages. Saleem in the statement said, "We show that at least for Amenhotep I, the priests of the 21st dynasty lovingly repaired the injuries inflicted by the tomb robbers, restored his mummy to its former glory, and preserved the magnificent jewelry and amulets in place." Now, what killed the pharaoh is not clear. They said we could not find any wounds or disfigurement due to disease to justify the cause of his death, Saleem said in the statement. The scans shed light on what the pharaoh looked like when he was alive. Amenhotep I seems to have physically resembled his father Ahmoses I. He had a narrow chin, a small narrow nose, curly hair, and mildly protruding upper teeth, said Saleem. Now, most pharaonic mummies have been physically unwrapped or extensively studied using CT scans, the researcher said, noting that Amenhotep I was one of the few royal mummies that had not been examined in detail. Saleem said, "This fact that Amenhotep I's mummy had never been unwrapped in modern times gives us a unique opportunity, not just to study how he had originally been mummified and buried, but also how he had been treated and reburied twice, centuries after his death, by high priests of Amun." Live Science reached out to scholars not involved with the research. Quote, "It's all very interesting, but I'm not sure there's anything earth-shattering here," and quote, said Aidan Dodson, an Egyptology professor at the University of Bristol in the UK. The Golden Girdle may be without direct parallels, but nearly all other royal mummies were completely robbed, so this does not mean very much, Dodson said, noting that other royal mummies may have worn similar girdles that were subsequently stolen. It's possible that the 21st dynasty priests put the Golden Girdle on Amenhotep I, said Kara Cooney, an Egyptologist professor at UCLA. High priests of Amun, who effectively controlled parts of Egypt during the 21st dynasty, regarded Amenhotep I as an ancestor and may have displayed their affection for the pharaoh by placing this girdle on him, Cooney told Live Science. Cooney said that she will discuss this topic more in an upcoming book called Recycling for Death that will be published by American University in Cairo Press. This is on Science Alert. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support.